Hi, it's Dave with Classic Blade Review. What we're going to do in this short video, I'm going to show you how to clean the rust off of the blade of your knife with just a few very basic ingredients that you likely already have in your kitchen. Now, the knife that we're going to clean is the Buck 503 Prince. It's one of my favorite EDCs, one of my favorite everyday carry knives. And so I'll show you the box. And here's the knife itself. I'll show you the blade. This is one of the Buck knives that are made in the USA. This side of the blade's not too bad. When you turn it around, you can see there just some of the rust spots that have gotten on the blade. So we're going to go ahead and remedy that. And what we're going to use is I had gotten a brand new little scrubby thing that's used in the kitchen for dishes. Unused, I just cut a portion of it off. You won't need the whole thing. Just a little bit that you can use to scrub your blade after you've soaked it for a while. And then we're going to... I'm using a little jar. Looks like it was a preserves or jelly jar at one point in time. You can use whatever you'd like. And what I'm going to do is set my knife gently down. I don't want to damage the tip of the blade at all, but what we're going to do, we're going to set that down there, point down, and then we're going to take white vinegar. And the acid in the white vinegar will actually help to clean that blade. I'm going to pour it into the jar just enough to where it covers the blade up to the handle. And now I've never done this before, but I've read along the vinegar has acid, not super strong with acid, but it has a good amount which cleans the blade. But I was told, or I read, that you can even use table salt and put it in there. I'm not going to put a ton, but just enough, and that helps it to soak into the blade of the knife. So I'm just going to turn it this way. Okay. So I've got my blade sitting in there. It's submerged in the vinegar and hasn't hardly cost me a dime. I might have to explain that little cut scrub pad to my wife. But what we're going to do, you're going to let that sit for at least 30 minutes, if not more. If you can let it sit longer, that'd be great. But let that sit for at least 30 minutes, and then what we're going to do is come back to it and we're going to scrub it and see how good that rust comes off, how good we can clean it. So we'll be back in a second. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea, whatever you like. All right. Well, we are back. I've had this knife sitting in white vinegar for maybe just over a half hour. Hopefully it's done the trick. We'll see that in just a moment here. Okay. Got my little scrub pad. So what I'm going to do when I pull the knife out, I'm going to use the Brillo side first. Do a little scrub down on it, and then I'll probably put it back in the vinegar, swish it around a little bit, and then I'll use the sponge side as well. I'm hoping, I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm hoping that it did the trick. Let's take a look. I still see some rust. Oh, it looks like it's coming off though. I do this side as well. There was just a little bit in that thumb slot, or whatever you call that, that you use to open up the blade. So I'm going to show you the side that had all those rust dots. It's looking really good. If you remember, it had a bunch of rust spots. Pretty much all gone. There's just one tiny little spot that I can still see. But it's looking really clean. This side wasn't too bad to begin with. But it's also looking clean. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to put it in the vinegar again. Swish it around because I've scrubbed it a little bit. Then I'm going to use the bowl pad one more time on the side where there was a lot of rust. And the other side as well. I'm going to swish it around one more time. It would hopefully rinse off any residue that would be left. Now I'm going to use the sponge side. It's a little bit of a softer scrub on it. Oh yeah, it cleaned up really well. Really, all the little rust spots are gone. Use it on this side as well. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how that came out. I'll give you a close-up in just a moment here. Now I'm going to try to dry it a little bit. Super important to dry it, otherwise, well, you're gonna be right back where you started. Not only did it take the those little rust spots off, but it did a really good job of cleaning the blade. So there's the blade again. Trying to get it into focus for you. The lighting's just really bad. Well, I apologize. And then this is the side that had all those rust spots. You can see they're all completely gone. Nice clean blade. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just let it sit out and probably wipe it down again. Let it sit to get any kind of moisture out of it. Keep it open for a while. Let it dry out. But that's what I would do. If you've got a blade that just needs cleaned up a little, or maybe you've got some real light surface rust spots on your blade, just white vinegar. The salt seemed to work. I think probably you're meant to put the salt in the vinegar, then mix it, then put it in, but I had forgotten it, so I just threw a little bit in after putting the knife blade in it. But it turned out really well. I'm happy. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful for you. Leave any comments, any tricks of the trade that you've learned. I appreciate you stopping in. Subscribe if you like what you see. Yeah, happy collecting.